Hey, this is Medicine Man here. I tried to keep this short, but yeah, it's 15 minutes. Sorry. Okay, this is my water system. I use a Sawyer squeeze and a Cnoc and Life Water Smart water bottles. Fairly simple. What you get with a Sawyer is you get the little white sippy cap with a removable cap that gets lost. And when this gets lost, this gets contaminated and gets dirty. And you run a real good risk of getting sick. So I toss it. The first thing I do is toss that. I replace it with a flip top cap from a Life Water or a Smart water bottle. That way I can open it and close it without ever having to touch the part like touches my lips or goes into my food cooking or anything like that. Stays a lot cleaner. Okay, the other thing we have that's a problem, if you over tighten the white washer in here, it tends to fall out. It tends to fall out anyway after a couple of weeks because mainly these nubs every 90 degrees wear out. What you do is you go here, go to a hardware store, get a clothing machine, clothes washer, filter, and you slide it in there. It goes right in, just like that, but you have to press it in on all the sides. And the first time you screw a bottle in, you seat it, and you don't ever have to touch it again. It will never fall out until you physically take it out. Do not get one of these because it has the nubs on it. Get the one without the nubs. The washer's a little bit bigger. That's why it sets in easier. These two, both of these will fall out. This one doesn't. Okay, back flushing. A Sawyer backflush. Basically, it says go opposite of the flow. You push the water out this way to get the dirt out. Take this off, and Sawyer tells you to take this plunger, fill it up with fluid, clean water hopefully, and push it backwards. I think they say do it a couple of times. Smart way. You're in a field. You take the spout, the top of your bottle, squeeze it on. It stays. It's watertight. Squeeze half of your bottle through your Sawyer and you're done. It takes 15 seconds. Pull it back off, put this down. This is still half full. Put your cap on and your back flushing is done. Like I said, 15 seconds. Do it every 6 to 8 liters of water. The sediments in the desert waters will clog these quickly if you do not. It'll slow the flow down and you get frustrated trying to squeeze water through the filter when it's clogging. Back flush it every 6 to 8 liters and you won't have much of a problem. Filtering. I use a Cnoc. I like my Cnoc. If you have a problem with your Cnoc and you lose and drop and can't find this, Smart water bottle cap. Works just fine. Works great. If you got an extra sippy top, that'll work too. So it'll work fine on that. These you can squeeze fairly tightly. You're never supposed to squeeze hard on any of them. Problem is these will break in about 3 days if you fill it up with water as best you can and squeeze it out. These break. I don't even take them. I bring a Cnoc. If you choose not to bring a Cnoc or the bladder and you want to just go straight dirty water, get 2 bottles that have different texture. This one I can tell in the dark is my dirty water bottle. In the dark, that's my clean bottle. You don't want to screw them up and mix them up because if I grab my dirty bottle, make something, or just get a quick drink at night and it's a dirty water bottle, you're probably going to be sick. A lot of times the water's really shallow and you can't get to it. Make a funnel out of a Smart water bottle or a bottle with a flip top cap. You scoop it up, let it drain in there. Does this take a long time? Yeah, you're only doing a few ounces at a time. But it's immensely easier than trying to fill this up. But you can fill your bottle up. This helps a lot. Okay, this is my cook system. I cook with heat and I cold soak. Now, I do a combination of both most of the time. What you see is I got a micro stove, small MSR, gas can, isobutane. and a wide body bottom to where I can set the pot on the stove without having to balance it. The more narrow the pot, the harder it is for this to balance. After a while, it becomes important. Notice the top is on. Even though you think it doesn't take much, it takes 30% roughly more fuel to boil water without the lid on. You can use this can as long as possible, so leave the lid on whenever you heat water, cook your meal, whatever you're going to do, keep the lid on. It saves a lot of fuel. Okay, that's enough for the pot. If you see this, it's just a Pocket Rocket 2. My hack is I got my own little windscreen here that I've built and put on it. The MSR Deluxe has its own built-in. Mine works great. If you can see it, build it. I'm not going to show you how to do it because it could get dangerous. But it works very well for keeping the flame. Bring a Bic lighter, keep it in with your food kit, and have it only Bic lighter for food. Don't use it for any other thing but your cook kit. That way you don't lose it. You see this? Move this out of the way quick. I said I cold soak. I use a Talenti jar. I used to use a small peanut butter jar. I still use a small peanut butter jar. But I built a koozie for it. And it works great. So I'll take this. If I'm not cooking out of my pot, I'll heat the water, put it in here, and I'll heat soak this in my koozie. That way I can save. So I have my koozie heating. This goes away. I used to bring my koozie for my pot. I quit doing that because I just never heat soaked in here. I always started putting everything in my Talenti jar for a heat soak to let the things warm up and all that stuff. You know, when they say let it sit for 20 minutes, I let it sit in here. One of the other hacks I do is it's a health hack. Is if you've got this thing and you're worried about cleanliness and maybe germs or something like this, I'm going to turn this on. It's called flashing. Turn it up, stick it on. Count to a few, it's done. I'm back. You're worried about your spoon, make sure it's metal. If you're worried about it, this will kill anything that's on there. And you set it aside, because it's hot, don't touch it for a while. And turn it off, you're done. You've warmed this up, you've eaten your food. Now it's time to try to clean this. Well, how do you clean this thing? You put 2-3 ounces of water in here, put the top on, and you shake it really vigorously. Really vigorously, you keep it on the side, like this, and you drink the water. It's all clean, it's just residue food, but you still get some fluid intake. After you do that, you put another ounce of water in there, shake it again with that 1 ounce or so, and drink that. And it's trail cleanup. That's for packing up, for packing everything up. This is like this. I never put anything in here because I might be cold soaking my lunch. I might be cold soaking my dinner. Put my fuel and wrap it around my cooking rag. I stick it all in there. The lid's on the bottom because it will stay in. Otherwise it tends to come out. If I'm cold soaking only, that goes away. And I have that. Works great. And you can cold soak for quite a few weeks. Or the whole trail if you'd like. Using your stove, it seems really simple, but a couple of things just kind of keep in the back of your mind. If you look at this, you want to bring it up to a 3-minute boil, right? Bring your water to a 3-minute boil. 3 minutes of this is roughly the same as 15 minutes of that. Basically simmer, rapid boil, okay? You bring it back up, if you bring it way back up to here, you're just wasting fuel. It's not going to boil any faster like that. So you bring it down, you want the yellow flames gone, you want a blue flame. This will bring it to a fast boil. Okay. This is a simmer. Why do I say that? Because if you take it on here and you put this on and you bring it up hot, and I'm going to bring this empty on purpose, that is why be very careful. You don't have uniform heating with your titanium pots. You just don't. That's why you don't go too high. That's why you get black pot syndrome, carbon on the bottom, burning all the time. Simmer it. If you simmer foods, you don't scorch the bottom. You run that simmer, it'll be hot, you stir it a lot, you'll be fine. High flames, you're going to have carbon. Okay, one of your large complaints about isobutane at elevation or in really cold weather or a combination of both is that the isobutane cans, doesn't matter who makes it, don't work well at high altitude. The reason being is because you're burning off all your propane and none of your butane. Butane does not vaporize near freezing. Butane or propane will. So you end up burning off all your propane and your butane is still full and you can't figure out why your stove barely works. That's the reason why. So what you need to do is keep your can warm. A lot of people sleep with their cans in their sleeping bag. A lot of people put them in their armpit for carry them for a while to warm it up. I'm going to show a method that I'm going to simulate how I would fix an MSR can, or an isobutane can, I should say, of any manufacturer. How I would fix that if I'm at altitude and it's really cold out to get the butane working, to get that can to work as most efficiently as possible. Simulating it's really cold out and I got my altitude is at 8,000 feet, 6,000 feet, something like that, and it's cold out. I'm going to light it and I'm going to sacrifice some propane to heat up some water. I'm going to get the water heated up. Once it's lukewarm and you've been using the propane, you shut it off as fast as you can because you don't want to use all your propane. Okay, quick change. I've had this can in the freezer overnight. And if you look at the difference in the flame, you can see it doesn't quite go as well as this can did that I was using. But you use this, you get your pot lukewarm using the propane, right? Once it's lukewarm, and like I said, you don't use a real high flame, nothing bigger than that. You get this lukewarm, turn this off, because you don't want to waste your propane. You set this up, there you go. Hopefully you can hear that. That's the butane boiling off inside the can, mixing with your propane. Once it stops, then you can take it out. Hopefully you can see the difference in the flame, because I can see it from here. And you reheat your water and you cook as usual. Now you have a stove that actually has your butane and your propane mixed, and you're using your butane fuel more than your propane fuel, and you're getting a fairly decent burn. If you're on top of Mount Whitney, yeah, this isn't going to work that well. It'll still work this way. Just thought I'd show you this. A little bit of a hack for your cans. Get a lot more life out of these cans that way. And it's any can. Every manufacturer has their own proprietary blend of propane and butane. Anyway, I hope these hacks help you guys out. Think of things you can do. Hike well, be well.